Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Uncorked with Funny Wine Girl. This is Funny Wine Girl, aka Janine Luby. Welcome to April. It is National Humor Month. It's actually a whole bunch of things, to be honest. There's a lot of observances. I know in fact, we'll be hearing from my podcast sponsor, Emily Hickox, in a couple of weeks. It is, I believe, National Financial Literacy Month. I know I just happen to know that it's like Occupational Therapist Month because I know NAMI here locally, they've been doing a lot of work with these students so that the students understand how to integrate mental health first aid, mental health understanding when they're out there working with folks, which is really important. There's, I'm sure, a whole bunch of other observances, but today, this episode, we're going to focus on National Humor Month because, oh, God knows, we need to laugh, right, America? And international world, everybody. I think it's a good time to laugh, even though folks might say, oh, what's there to laugh at? I always like to think or bring up a couple folks. One, Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning, talks about the power of humor. And this man was in a concentration camp. So it's like he gives me hope. If he could find a grain of the use of humor for just a moment, that's hopeful. And the Dalai Lama, who has talked about laughter and quoted about how, it's not like when I laugh, I'm not burying my head in the sand. I know there's problems in the world, but when we laugh, we take time to kind of put the problems on the shelf for a little bit, just set them aside, like stop ruminating, stop thinking about them, and just relieve your stress, lower your anxiety, and then you're able to face your challenges better. So that's kind of the idea. So who could I talk to about humor and laughter? Oh, I know, my dear friend, funny woman who does children's shows, the Josh and Gab show. She does stand-up comedy. She speaks publicly. She's a mental health advocate. She's all that in a bag of chips. It is Pittsburgh-based Gab Bonesso.
Janine, thanks for having me back. It's the 10 Timers Club, maybe at this point, and I'm frankly honored. Thank you so much.
Forget the blue blazer. I gotta get you. I don't even know. Forget a blazer. I'm just going with like a special monogrammed shark suit.
Yes, that would be a dream, please.
In case anyone doesn't know this, Gab happens to love sharks, or is it sharks? Yeah, sharks,
Shark.
right?
No, I love all the variety. I mean, hammerhead are my favorite, but yes, I love sharks in general. And if you serve shark, I will stop eating at your restaurant. That is a fact. So
Okay.
I
All
will
right.
walk away from shark fin soup. I will. I
How
have.
dare you, sir?
I know, it's just I was out like in a very rural part of Pennsylvania, and they actually had shark fin soup, but I was with Josh, we were doing shows, and we had to eat. And I was like, if this were not the only restaurant in this town, I would boycott it, but you should know better. And they're like, okay, we don't really care what you're saying. I'm like, all right. Anyway.
What an interesting item that's like, yeah, sorry, ma'am, that's all we have on the menu, shark fin soup. All right.
In rural PA too. Like, what, really? Okay, interesting.
I'd expect more like venison or maybe squirrel stew or something like that. But
Yes, we have a restaurant in our area that does turtle soup, which not really my cup of tea, but
hmm, interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
I've heard of it, but only like I imagined it in like songs or cartoons. Like I didn't know it was a real thing, turtle soup.
In like poor mining towns and outside of Pittsburgh, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. They like the turtles. They go in the
Huh.
river, they get the turtles, they eat them up. Yeah. Yeah. That's my
Hmm.
people, Janine.
Well, okay. So Gab likes her sharks out of the bowl, like
Yes,
in
not
the ocean.
yes. They belong.
Yes, where they belong in their habitat. And Gab has done jokes about this, I know, because sharks get a bad rap, right?
They do, Janine. Like people, yeah, people act like the sharks are ruining their beach time. And it's like, they're hanging out in their house. You're ruining you're the home invader. They have every right to bite you. What is happening? Someone breaks into my house, you'll be lucky if you get away with just a bite. That's all I mean. I think that we're hard on sharks. I do.
Okay, I hear you. And that makes sense, right? I mean, we're invading their territory. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, it's their house.
So let's talk about it's humor month and you're funny and you use humor to get through some crap in life and you've done that for a long time and I don't really have an agenda tonight so we're just going to kind of shoot the shit and catch up and If anyone wants to listen, great. And if this isn't your cup of tea, return next week. That's all good.
I know
But
you get a lot of bots who listen when I'm on because then they email me and they're like, "Hey, I heard you on Janine's Funny Girl podcast. If you want someone to help you get on other podcasts, we'll help you for $100 a month." I'm like, "No, thank you." And then it's like, "Heard you again on Janine's podcast." I am not hiring you, sir. Leave me alone. So if you're listening, bot, we don't want you. Maybe
I'm
Janine,
s-
I don't want to hire
I'm
you.
sorry you're being harassed by those people. Does that mean I need to limit your appearances on the show here?
Absolutely not. I think we should do an offshoot that's like every month we do something that's like a bonus episode.
Yeah, I'm down for that. But I hear you on like I didn't really call them bots, but I guess that's like I'll get a lot on LinkedIn and it's like or LinkedIn or even through my Gmail where it's like, oh, hello, Janine, or hello, Miss Luby. I listened to, and it'll be like Uncorked Funny Wine Girl, and I'll just pick a name. I'm sure they didn't listen. It was fascinating insights, blah blah blah. And of course, they're either selling editing software or they're trying to, to get me guests or get me more attention. And I just instantly delete all of them. Now, some on LinkedIn, I guess, are real people, but when I look at their like what their business is, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't have the budget to invest in you. It's like, no, I'm good right now. Come back when
Yeah.
I have like, I don't know, 100,000 like listeners or something. I don't know.
Do you pay for like professional LinkedIn or are you just like the basic LinkedIn?
All right, Gab. I'm going to share something with you right now. Okay,
All right.
everybody, play that music. I'm sharing a secret. I don't know what that music was. I don't.
Like
I'm like,
what the Twilight Zone secrets?
I don't know what the fuck that was. No, so I debated like a year or two ago because some folks I know have the premium, but it's not cheap. It's like 500 and some dollars a year. And I was like, I don't know, that's a lot of money, but you get access to like their training, different training videos. And I'm like, yeah, maybe there's value. So I did it. Now I forgot that I had it on auto renew or whatever. So I want to say February it renewed, and it renewed like I don't have it set up to pay every month, so it comes out in one lump sum of like 500 some
Oh,
dollars. Now where I'm sitting, okay, I'm gonna another secret. Anyone listening? I am not in a field where I'm like making what doctors make or lawyers or like CEOs of really successful companies. With that said, I love my life and I'm successful, but I don't have a lot of extra financial wealth, let's put it that way. So I probably would have thought about it and said, I don't know if I need to do it, or I would have set up a monthly plan. So long answer, I renewed without my real approval. Well, it just was kind of on autopilot and I forgot to undo it. So I'm like, oh shit. So yeah, and then I keep telling myself, well, Janine, you paid for it. You better get on there and look at those training videos. I'm sure there's something to be had. Well, have I done it yet? No, I haven't.
you're making me feel like no. The only reason I ask is they'll be like, Gab, you've got somebody who is very interested in hiring as a life coach. I'm like, get the heck out. And I go to LinkedIn. It's like, if you want to read it, you have to pay for a premium unlocked. I'm like, no, no way. It's probably somebody who is a life coach. You're tricking me. I'm not doing it, Janine. I'm not. I don't trust these people. I might verify on Twitter though. And I'm going to tell you why. Even at the small base level, they protect you from having your account. So like if like what happened to you when someone like if it's verified, they guarantee they won't let that happen. So I don't know. That might be worth $7 a month or 14. I can't remember what it is. It's something on
Mm,
par with what I pay for like AMC Plus.
okay. I got off of Twitter. I just kind of like I wanted to leave, and I guess you had to like let it go for a little bit, so I let it go. So I don't know if that's the same thing as like actively leaving. So hopefully it doesn't mean that someone can like restart my account. Although I mean, let's face it, anything can be done these days. So I mean, big balls, whatever, could be tweeting as funny wine girl for all I know. I don't know, but I do want to verify on LinkedIn though, because I have the premium plan, and a lot of times someone like that I'm interacting with is verified, and it'll be like verify right now. And I have, you tell me, Gab, I think, is it part of ADHD or whatever? Like I procrastinate like a lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff. And sometimes it's simple stuff, but I'm like, oh, I'll just do that later. Like I don't think it's super difficult, but I'm like, yeah, I'll do that later.
Yeah. I do have I think it's ADHD because I can't even begin to tell you the pile of things I should have gone through since January that are just still right there. Yeah, it's gonna happen someday, just not today.
Yeah. I think I was reading that recently with that's why I was like, I think two things we talk one about liking television so much, which I am so I'm not proud. I've always said this because my time would be better spent journaling or reading books, but I love TV and I do procrastinate. So I'm like, maybe I do have ADHD.
And they claim that perimenopause makes it worse and everything. So triggers
Ah,
it sets it over. Yeah.
great, great. Well, I will say this much about both of us. Even though we do procrastinate, I think we get a shit ton still done.
Oh, definitely. Like that's like I always am so grateful with that when I do like my mental health talks because like so much of my life has been like a little bit like I've been in a like an apathetic state, like where I just sort of like I wasn't going to push myself too much, and I was like limiting myself in so many ways. But even while doing that, I still knew that I needed to be on stage and performing. So I kept like chugging forward, like despite it. So like, yeah, so I have no compl like I felt really grateful that like there's something in me that just kept driving forward even when I wasn't maybe taking advantage of opportunities I should have, or it was just sort of in a whatever, it doesn't matter place for a lot of my life. Yeah, I'm still, yeah, we do manage to we believe in ourselves, I think, on some level.
Yeah.
That's
And I
good.
think when we're driven, like when we're passionate about something, we're all in. Because I was talking to my friend the other day where I was like, oh, but I haven't been too productive, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, he's my guy that I go to, Greg, when he's very zen, like who will like, he'll be fair with me, but he's also like he's very he's just someone who helps me sort through nonsense. And he's like, okay, Janine, hear what you just said. He's like, give yourself grace there. He goes, because you were on the news promoting this, you did this, you did that. He goes, do you hear what I just like? He's like, listen to that. He's like, you're doing stuff. And I am, but it's like then I look at the pile that needs to be done. And I think also it could be, and I think what it's like for this, are the lifestyle we have as entrepreneurs, like especially solopreneurs, creative. We're not just doing one thing. You're not just doing the shows with Josh and Gab. You get hired to speak publicly. I mean, you've got a lot of different branches on your tree there, and so do I. It's like, okay, I want to book this show here. I want to book, a speaking gig with laughter yoga here. I would love to get a new client for marketing over here. It's hard sometimes to manage all that. So yeah, things sometimes do get put on the back burner.
Yeah, and I think too with you have your parents that you're always helping with. I always want to have time for Oscar, like finding those times to just be a human too, so yeah, maybe I do owe another payment to the IRS that I haven't got on board with yet. I'll get to it. It's coming. I already have to push off my taxes till the fall anyway. So guys, it's happening. It'll be fine.
Oh, do
Fine.
we still have to pay taxes? I didn't think that was
I
still a thing.
I keep telling her, I'm like, you do you, but I'm pushing off till October. We have to see. We have to see. But
I
the last
think I
time
might
I
have
wrote,
to.
I still didn't get a new payment plan. Like I'm on the last payment. So
Oh,
I'm gonna do
okay.
another one. I just like I'm dragging my feet and I know I need to because interest and it's like, Gab, stop it. Just do it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I pay a ton. I pay like $80 a month. All right, here you go.
That's kind of like me with my healthcare stuff. I mean, I am just paying now as I do like whatever, but they email, like they want me on a payment plan and I haven't set one up and I guess I should. I guess that would be make them happy and maybe take a little bit of anxiety off my plate. I don't know, but what can I say?
What can you
I'm
do?
not
Hey, don't worry about it, Janine. Hey, this is what I wish. And I used to do a bit about this in sketch comedy, but with everything in the world right now, don't you wish you could have apocalypse insurance? Like, this is like, that's the only insurance I feel like I need right now. Just give me apocalypse insurance and I'll be fine. I'll pay for that. But I don't want to pay taxes. I don't want to pay for anything else. Cause I mean, like, go get a mammogram, but then we get nuked. Like, what's the point? I don't know. I'm not sure how to play my health this year. I'm like, kind of, is this the year to roll the dice? I don't
yeah. So what if I have a suspicious lump? I'm dying anyway. We're all dying.
I don't know what's gonna hit me first. So let's just go. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's it's an
Yeah.
interesting. And but
Yeah,
like
that's
you said, with humor, like with my family, no matter what was going on, if we were at the hospital visiting my grandfather, if my mother was, in pain and sick, we always found ways to find humor to get us through these like horrible situations. Like my family, I feel like humor was our tool, it was our superpower, it was what got us through our lives, and it still continues to get me, my sister, my brothers through our lives. It is a wonderful thing. I think it's art, it's therapy, it's catharsis, it's wonderful. So it should be celebrated this month.
I agree. It absolutely should. I yesterday I had the Sunday, well, this is airing Thursday. So this past Sunday I had the pleasure of speaking at this women's event, Passion to Profit. It was really geared toward, excuse me, like individual women or women with small businesses. It was like a Passion to Profit small business summit, and I presented. And last time I did laughter yoga. This time I incorporated the laughter yoga, but I also talked about yes anding in life, the whole comedy improv idea of like, the how we it is a useful tool because like I said, there's a difference between accepting shit you shouldn't, right? Like not staying in toxic relationships. But when there are things that you literally just cannot change, like when you're stuck in traffic, there is nowhere to go. The pandemic, none of us asked for it. We didn't want it. It changed our lives. So the ability to adapt, to say, yes, it's here. And what am I going to do to move forward? I talked a little bit about that and then a little bit about addressing our pain points in life with humor. And I mean, that's, as you're saying with your family, that's what you guys did. And I find myself doing it a lot with my parents. You mentioned my parents, I live next door with them. And I mean, I love them to death. I really do. Well, not to death because, I'm not going to make anything happen sooner, but I love them and I want to help them. But I mean, we're human. So sometimes we get on each other's nerves. So I have to use humor. And of course, sometimes it's a little bit, harsh, but mom gets over it pretty well.
Oh my God. When my mother was alive, I didn't do a set if she was in the audience, I always did at least one joke about elder abuse. Like there was no way we weren't making fun of me, then we call that Tuesdays, or there'd be something like some elder abuse joke about my mother. I mean, she was my best friend, but yes, we would. I mean, she had a cane. She walked like Richard III. She was my date to everything. And but she could drive me crazy. So, like we'd be on the way to a show and she'd want to talk about like something sad about my father. And I'd be like, we're going to a comedy show right now. You want to talk about the day dad died right now? Woman. It would just be, but yeah, parents, they're great.
They are great. They really
Really
are.
are. I like, even though mine are ghosts, they still give me sign. I'm that corny cornball person who has dead parents. And like, there was a cardinal. It was my mom. I am that person. I don't care. But I can't even tell you how many times, like, I almost get in a car accident. And then I like, I'm safe. I'm like, oh, thank you. And then the car in front of me will be, it'll have my mother's name, Star. And I'm like, thank you, mom. Or one time I almost got in an accident and there was a train going by next to me and graffitied on the side of the train was my brother's name, Peppy. And I was like, oh my God, like just little things like that. I'm like, come on, that's too coincidental. My life was just saved. Then the angel's name is there. That's crazy.
Yeah. I liked your it was new to me anyway, the first time hearing it. We had, for folks who don't know, I had a online comedy show last week to benefit maternal and family health, and it went well. So watch and listen for on my social media and of course on the podcast. I'll probably give it shout outs that I will be doing more in the future. So if you have a nonprofit that unless you're having like $5,000 a plate black tie affairs, like don't reach out to me because you're not going to want $100, $200. But if you're grassroots and every dollar counts, reach out to me because we're going to be doing more of these online comedy fundraisers. But the joke that you did about your mom, I was curious because I mean, since I know you, you're like, yeah, my mom's my best friend, and you were doing that, and I'm like, okay. I was waiting for it. I was waiting to see where it went.
The one with Psycho, or the
one where like she's dead, she's a ghost.
Oh, she's dead. She's alive. Yeah, my mom. She was. Yeah. I mean, I do a lot about her now being dead because I have. She was such a big part of my act that, like, when I put out my first album, it was right after she died, and I'm like, oh, my whole act is about my mom. What am I supposed to tell jokes about? So then I had to like write jokes about her being dead because I was like, I have to have something. She was like she was my muse before Oscar. It was mom, and now it's Oscar. It's like, they're the people I write about.
It's funny. Well, I say funny, and you know what I mean, ironic or whatever, interesting that like, and I think we've talked a little bit about this before, about the whole idea of like, subjects that are taboo or people's own discomfort or whatever. And I do believe that, if you're uncomfortable, you can get up and leave or whatever, but we shouldn't be canceling a person or whatever because there, I think uncomfortable topics or, certain topics, it's not like we're trying to raise awareness to some degree and comfort so that people do talk about them. But One of the jokes that I do, and I'm sure, yeah, I think you've heard me do it in a couple of the shows about my parents getting older and like how I like, oh, now I get to take them. We have fun afternoons. I take them for their living will and then for ice cream sundaes, and then I don't know what it says about me. It took me longer to decide what flavor ice cream I wanted than when to pull their plug. And I can tell you the audiences vary on that one. I've had the ones I should embrace the ones who really liked it. And there was a couple. Others laugh hesitantly. And then some are just like, there's almost like silence. And I think the show I did a couple weeks ago in the Poconos was not great. It was for a pet shelter or an animal shelter, and it was just a different kind of audience, and it was spread out, kind of funny. I'm like, yeah, this is not my audience. I mean, I did get laughs, but I didn't get a ton, and like I got like silence for that joke, and I'm like, it's all right. My mom is okay with that joke, or she kind of
Yeah.
laughs at it. But like, I don't know if it's because I'm talking about death or like pulling the plug. And I get it. It's not exactly a funny topic, but again, and this is if you have to dissect a joke, then I mean, you shouldn't have to do that, or like just say, okay, it's kind of, but I mean, the joke, and sometimes maybe people don't realize, and this, I'm just saying for listeners, the joke is about me, really, about my insensitivity or like how I'm treating the topic, but it's also about reality because we literally did that the one day where mom's like, do you want to stop at Manning's for ice cream? I'm like, sure. We just got your living wills. Let's stop for ice cream. I mean, it's life. That's like where the humor is.
That's always been my like argument about like material that's questionable. So I feel like if you're telling your truth, that's it, period. You're allowed to tell your joke. If you for no reason are punching down and being racist, cruel, sexist, all of the bads, we don't need that. You know what I mean? But like you just telling that, if that offended someone, truly, like no offense, that's a them problem. Like that's truly like, oh, friend, that sounds like you have a lot to unpack. Are you worried about your end of life? Do you have parents that you are dealing with? And that her just bringing this up is triggering. It sounds like you maybe should be coming out to comedy shows and you should be in therapy. And it's not a me problem, it's a you problem. And I'm really sorry for you, but it's not a Janine problem because I'm just telling my story. And that's where like, at a certain point, you have to just get to that way as a performer and be like, I can't control what you aren't taking care of at home. Like, I'm sorry you came out to a comedy show and this one line pushed you somewhere, but that's not me. That's a you thing. That's a you thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think because I'm not like, I perform probably maybe 10 times a year. I don't do a ton. So I will freely admit I'm not as, well versed in handling certain situations. And I think I made it worse because I think because I felt uncomfortable that I thought they were uncomfortable. I was like, oh, yeah, we're all going to die someday. But I'm like, death, it's going to happen, right? I mean, not exactly in that, but I mean, I was kind of like talking about, oh, we're all going to die. And blah.
Oh my God. Yeah. God, comedy can be such a like, it's just, yeah. Like one time my ex-boyfriend for my birthday bought me a gym membership. Okay. So of course I'm going to do material about that. So my first joke is my boyfriend bought me a gym membership for my birthday. Nothing says happy birthday, fat ass, like a membership to LA Fitness. Now, when he had bought it for me 2 weeks prior, there had been a horrible massacre at an LA Fitness. So my next line was, hey, buddy, if you want to break up with me, just say something. Don't send me into a bloodbath, right? Gets a big laugh. After the laugh, a woman goes, that's not funny. I was in that in like the most thick Yinzer accent. I'm like, excuse me? That's not funny. I was in that. You were in the LA Fitness shooting? Yeah, I was, and it was so scary. And he just started shooting, and everybody's ducking down, and I'm under a treadmill, and I saw a woman get shot, and she's telling the whole story in the middle of my act. And then she finishes, and everyone is just like silent. And I'm like, well, I really appreciate you sharing that tragic story with us all in the middle of my comedy set. That's my time. And I put the mic in the stand and I walked out a side door, got in my car, and drove away from the Pittsburgh Improv. I was 3 miles away from the club when I realized I drove my mom and my Aunt Val to the show. I'm gonna go back and get them. But yes, like those kind of moments, you're just like, why do I do this? Why am I doing this with my life? There's a million other things I could be doing. Yeah. But that was my truth. My ex-boyfriend used to always make like comments about me buying desserts. Like he just was always at me. And this was just my release of letting it out to the world. And of course, a woman had to be at the, yeah. in that trash.
Yeah. You're like, of course you were there and you're here right
And now
now.
you're gonna
That's
tell us all about this horrible moment of your life at the Pittsburgh Improv. Okay,
yeah. Yeah. I
great.
always think of I want to ask you something about your first performance, but before I do that, just to close out this idea of like the taboo topics, and I think I might have brought this up to you before about the whole idea of doing, I think we talked about the idea of like jokes about rape. And I mean, I think, what you had just said about if people are doing it deliberately to punch down, that's one thing. But if it's someone's truth, and I know that that can be an incredibly triggering, excuse me, topic. But I mean, when you think about an audience, you're not expecting like a third or half of the audience to have been raped. I mean, I wouldn't think you are, right? So I mean, I had this conversation, oh God, probably 8 years ago, 10 years ago with this one professor who, of course, was a man, never did comedy, but he had opinions on this, like, oh, well, I don't think rape should ever be, the subject of a joke. And I was like, really? And I'm thinking in my head, because of your experience performing comedy and of being a woman who are more often raped than men, like this is where you're forming your opinion and you're sharing it with me, of course, someone who is a woman and does comedy. And I said, oh, well, I don't know about that. I said, Margaret Cho talks about her sexual, how she was abused as a kid, and she is a joke, and I laugh at it because I think it's freaking funny. But I remember when she was like, she was on Jerry Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and the whole thing was she had been booed out of this club in New Jersey for doing that joke. And then, it kind of is annoying or ironic or whatever the world we live in as far as the patriarchy. It takes him, who's a male comedian, who, of course, is rich, has all this power, to set up that he was going to go do comedy at this club. And it was like her redemption. Like she came back to perform, and it's like, whatever. But I mean, I don't know. And I think there are people out there that's probably like, oh, that should never be on the table. But I feel like the ones who are often saying that are the ones who maybe weren't abused or assaulted. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, that's an opinion of yours. However, if Margaret Cho, had experienced that, that's therapeutic for her.
Agreed. I 100% agree with that. I never understood when yeah, like early in my career, I would talk about my father having it dead just died. He died while I was in college. And I remember a club owner being like, you should be talking about that. Nobody wants to hear about that. I'm like, but that's my life. These are my stories. And it's rooted in that my dad died. And then for Christmas, everyone bought us ornaments with his face on it. So now our Christmas tree is just this glaring reminder of grief. Like, I feel like I have to be able to talk about this stuff, man. My mom's making us still celebrate his birthday. He's been dead 3 years. We're buying him presents. I can't do this anymore, man. I got to talk about it, Yeah, I did a joke about my mother taking a course at community college in Santeria just so she could, Afro-Caribbean voodoo to bring him back from the dead. And, I was like, and dad's not looking good these days, guys. He's just, all brains and all this stuff, and I'd like make my dad a zombie and people like, you can't do that. I'm like, yes, you can. Yes. You can do what you
Yes.
want.
Yes, you can.
Eventually, I'm gonna turn my act clean and then focus it all just on the mental health portion and say, I'll prove it to you guys. You can talk about trauma in your comedy.
Yeah.
It took
Do you
my
think
whole
we'll
career to
ever,
prove it to them.
what's that?
It took my whole career to prove to like the early booking agents when they're like, you shouldn't be talking about this kind of stuff. And it's like, nah, I'm gonna show you. This is my act.
Do you think we'll ever get to a place? I don't know, maybe this is more rhetorical. Like, I do feel like it's going to take a lot, like for some people. Like, I feel like when you're doing a show, like maybe with, like, if you're doing it for certain audiences that are more specific, they are going to get it more or more readily than like the mixed general population audiences. I think they're going to struggle. I think because in their minds they're like, even they have maybe no experience performing, but they think, well, no, that shouldn't be talked about. That should. I feel like that's a hard needle to move.
Yeah, I find that like the only way the way I feel like it works for me, like doing some of these like taboo topics or even just talking about mental health out in like Warren, PA, where you might not think it would be well received, and it is, or at least maybe I got lucky, is like I always call it, and I call it the Harper Lee effect. So, and it's because it's a very specific scene in To Kill a Mockingbird where just basically you humanize yourself and you do something to immediately relate to the audience, and then once they feel that they see themselves in you just even a little bit, or they know you as a human, they're more open to let you go to these places, and they're like, oh, well, now I see it from this oh, as a, as a godmother or as a daughter who took care of her mom or whatever thing I have to sell them on first to get them to like me and trust me. And then it's like, okay, so by the way, I have mental health issues. Now let's talk about it. But I do it in a sweet way where it's not like, I'm gonna kill you. It's like, no, I've suffered. It's trauma. I collect candy dishes, like whatever to get them to like me and know that I don't, because I really don't like ever interact with a human being and try to, like, I take everybody as like, we are both humans. I love you until you prove me otherwise. Like, truly, I come into meeting every human like a puppy. I love you until you prove me otherwise. So that's really then on your end, like the next that you're as the other person, like that's how we can interact, because this could be a really, I could be your new favorite person like that real quickly, or you're gonna hate me because you're making an assumption about me and you haven't met me yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
with stand up, we have to get them to know us immediately within our first 3 seconds on stage.
Yeah. And that could be where I'm going wrong. I'm
No,
not like getting them to
you're
like
hard
me
on
enough.
you're hard on yourself, and you're always like, I only do stand up, and I'm like, meanwhile, if I was still book producing monthly, I would all like, you'd be a main person that I worked with. I think your stand up is smart. You're so good. You don't seem like someone who only does it 10 times a year. You seem very polished and you do it more. And yes, so I won't let you not think you're a great comedian. The end.
All right. Well, all right then. Okay.
Fine.
All right.
You
Let me
can
take a
go.
moment to bask in that. I am funny. I am fantastic. All right. Well, I want to ask you about, do you remember the first time that you tried stand up? Where it was, what your material was, how it was received, how you felt about it. Do you mind sharing that if you remember?
No, I'd love to share it. It's really it's a very unique story. So I just graduated college, and this local comedy club that no longer exists called the Funny Bone was having a comedy contest. And my older brother, who's 16 years older than me, he had always wanted to be a comedian. And he sort of was like very influential in my raising. So he was like, hey, they're having a comedy. We should both sign up and do the contest and try comedy. And I just graduated from college in theater, and they had encouraged me to try to do comedy. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I signed up thinking he signed up. It's like 3 days before the thing, and he's like, oh, I didn't sign up. And I'm like, "Nah." So now I'm signed up. I have not written any material. My mom, my sister, my best friend, and my sister's best friend were all driving down to the Funny Bone together. And I'm in the back seat, like, all right, maybe this would be a good joke. Like, I'm just writing material in the car. My mother was like, oh, this is going to be really bad. Like, she was like getting sick to her stomach, knowing this was going to be horrible. We get there, there's like, 20 comedians on the lineup. There's like local DJs as the celebrity, judges and all this stuff. And I'm eighth in the lineup. And every person going up is just doing horrible. Like, they have no stage presence. Their humor is all like about their PPs. Like, it was just like, I was very unimpressed. Like, I'd never done stand up, but these people had all been doing it for years. And I'm like, and I'd been a theater major. So I'm like, geez, this isn't, I got this. Like, I literally was just sitting there getting cocky, not like being intimidated, being like, oh, I know how to go on stage. I'll be fine. I go up and I just start ad-libbing. I'm like making fun of the DJs because I never saw them before. They was on radio. So I'm like, hey, who knew that guy was hot as shit? He looks like James Vanderbeek from Dawson's Creek. Hey, Beef from the Creek, get me some of that. Like, I'm just being a crazy person. There was like a woman waving smoke away. I'm like, I feel like I'm in a Tennessee Williams play. What's this lady doing waving the smoke away? What's your deal? Like, I'm just riffing with the crowd. I made it to the finals, my very first time ever doing stand-up. So when the next thing was coming, the main comedian guys call my house, and my mom's like, yeah, can you believe it? She never did stand-up before. That was her very first time, which then immediately made all the men at the club like, so from like that point, and then that next show, I got my first paid gig. The next time I performed at the finals, I didn't win, but I got my first paid gig. And like right from there, I was getting like opportunities to produce. I was in the newspaper, and I'd been doing it for like 3 seconds. So all these veteran men in Pittsburgh just like, hey, like, so the beginning of my career literally started like magic for me. And then with this horde of bullies who just wanted to watch me fail from minute one. That is truly my start into this business.
Oh, and we know how much men love that. Like they like to be the ones in the room that's like, yeah, I've been doing this for 5 minutes, but I want this. And then like to see a woman succeed after they've been like, oh, and I've been telling these same dick jokes for 10 years. Why?
Yep. It was bad, Janine. It was like I thought like, and then that DJ, he became like my pal and wanted to do all my shows, and he'd promote me for free on the radio. Like things were just like right from and I was like young and grieving and PTSD and just like I was never sleeping and I just I'd go to New York City constantly to do stand up like and come back and like it was a whole other world. My early years were intense, lucky, like really cool opportunities. And I will say a lot of those negative guys though in the business, they would always be like, yeah, she can, tell stories, but she doesn't have any punchlines. Bonesso has no punchlines. And so one summer I was like, I'm gonna take a little bit of time off and really see if I want to do this. And I read like a Lenny Bruce book, and then I read Steve Martin's book, Born Standing. And it changed everything because he was like, if I'm not, he wasn't having fun doing it either. And he's like, the minute he made it silly, then he had fun. And then it changed my whole act. I had punchline, but I mean, I became a prop comic. I took it to like levels I'd never taken it before. Like Steve Martin's book changed how I viewed comedy and like allowed myself to have fun. Because prior to that, it was more angry comedy. And then it was like, okay, I can be silly and absurdist. And
And what's the name of that book?
I think it's called Born Standing.
Okay, I'll have to Google that and see. Someone yesterday told me about a book that she recommended it. I forget exactly why, but it was Judd Apatow's book. Gosh, I'm forgetting the name of it, but like she felt that it was relatable to life overall, but she said it was about how he got like he just got his first big break and just like was interviewing, I forget, somebody big when he wasn't really anybody, but just how he put himself out there. But I'll have to Google that. That's interesting, especially since it was so influential to you.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Martin still is like my absolute favorite comedy. He and Martin Short, like the fact that I get to have a current show with them, I just feel like the luckiest fan in the world. Like I grew up with them. They were the epitome from the time I was a little girl, and they are still the epitome as an adult woman. And Josh and I were just talking about Steve Martin. Like, has there ever been a live performer to span, like, have a career like his? Like, be that relevant for 7 decades and do so much of a variety of different forms of art. Like, I don't know that there is anyone better than Steve Martin, period.
I love him and Martin Short together. I think of the two of them, I kind of feel like I'm drawn to Martin Short more. I just like his silliness and his characters. I mean, Jiminy Glick, I still watch
Oh,
those and crack up. Like Sean, yeah, Sean Hayes, he was interviewing, or Bill Hader, and I'm like laughing my ass off. But the two of them together are just fantastic. They play off each other so well.
they are the best. They are so good. Martin Short, like that to me, like he is who I like. If someone could play my dad in a movie, it would be Martin Short. Like, I've been imitating him since I was a little kid. I dressed up as Ed Grimley one year for school Halloween. None of them knew who I was. Um, his Nelson Hepburn, that like I love Katharine Hepburn. I would do Katharine Hepburn person like that. Yeah, he is my guy. I love him, but as a performer,
Yeah.
like, he's so clown. Yeah, I just love him so much. But Steve is so smart, and yeah, they together they're just the best. They are the best.
Yeah. He and Steve Martin, I did read because he's excuse me, he's like multi-talented because I did read one of his novellas that was not, I think it was more drama. It was a short
The
oh, it was
Shop
something,
Girl.
he was it, it's not, is it Shop Girl?
He did
It
Shop Girl. He's had a
then
few.
then it is Shop Girl. I think so. And yeah, because there was about a set of gloves.
Yeah.
That's the one. And I really enjoy, I'm not, again, I'm not proud to say I'm not much of a reader, but I enjoyed that because it was a novella. It was shorter, but I thought that was excellent. Yeah.
He had a great play called Picasso. I always pronounce it wrong, like at the Lapen Ajao. I have no idea how you're supposed to say it, but it's like Einstein, Picasso, all together at a gallery. It's like really cool. It was produced. They did it here in Pittsburgh at one point, but it was, I think originally in New York, of course. But yeah, he's just so talented. Um, yeah, I've loved all his movies, all his stuff, and I mean, his music is really good. When he plays the banjo with Alison Krauss, he's incredible. Like he's just a really I wouldn't be surprised to find out if he was on the spectrum, just from the way Martin Short talks about him, because I guess Steve Martin is very closed off. Marty Short is like his only friend. He doesn't really let people into his world. He's just like everything has to be precise the way he likes it. Like he's a very tight wound guy, according to Martin Short. So I don't know. I
Hmm. Yeah, well, definitely talented, and they definitely make us laugh. That's for damn sure. I mean, again, like I go back. I think of when I was a kid watching SNL, Martin Short, when he was on, oh my God, I'm not a strong swimmer, or like, oh my God, Ed Grimley, and then Jackie, was it Jackie something Jr.? Oh
Oh
my God, when he,
yeah,
oh, not Jackie Rogers Jr. Was it Jackie
it
Rogers
was
Jr.?
Jackie Rogers Jr. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was, I guess I was like grade school to or maybe high school. Oh my God. I would mimic him doing those characters. They just were so funny to me. Really
Oh my
funny.
God. Yeah. And he can really sing, Martin Short. He was originally going
Hmm.
to be a singer. Yeah.
I'm telling you, these multi-talented people, it's well, and you were saying before, after you read his book, Steve Martin's, that it
Yeah.
changed your act. I don't know why I'm not enunciating. My apologies. I'm just tired lately. I'm like, you'll figure it out what I'm trying to say. Um, that is one thing that I feel like, and I've said this a million times, and people are like, all right, Janine, we get it about the introvert, extrovert, the extrovert, introvert, whatever it is, because my whole life in class, I was serious. Like, I wanted to do well. I didn't even really raise my hand that much to give answers. But I was the farthest thing on the opposite end of the spectrum of the class clown. I was not that person at all. Was so serious. So for me to do the stand up and even the improv that I did, like improv, I think allowed me to be more free. Where my stand up, I'm still, I mean, it sucks that at 53, I still care that I'm not exploring more. That is, I guess that would be my stretch goal or the next thing I'd like to do. I would like to be, because around my friends, very few friends, like not, I don't show it to everybody, but the people who are closest to me, their kids, I can be as silly as can be. And like, I want to do more of that, like talking in different voices, accents, singing even. And my voice isn't terrible. It's actually decent. So that's why I bought the ukulele 2 years ago, because my goal was to write some songs and stuff. I really want to explore that. It's on my list. It's in my, well, I don't do vision boards, but if I did, it would be there.
We should do a friend weekend at the Poconos, and I bring my laptop and we produce a track.
I would love to do
Bring
that.
a ukulele, I bring my mics, we write a song together.
I would love to do
You
that.
know, a funny
Yeah.
wine girl theme song.
Oh my God. Yes. Someone I had on oh my gosh, Natalie from Scranton Girls Rock. She's gonna have a music band camp this summer. She's actually from here, lives in Orlando. She's coming back to do it. And she's like, do you have a theme song? I should write you one. But I would love to write one. But I when I bought that ukulele, it really was with this idea that like I would start incorporating it into my set, into my act, and like doing some jokes. And I've written some lyrics here and there. And it's like, again, as you kind of reminded me before, like, you are funny. I tend to think, and this might sound like, I think the things that hit are simpler. And I think we've talked about this.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, oh, that's not funny enough, or that's not whatever enough. And I have a feeling that the stuff I'm coming up with would be fine. It would definitely get the reaction, because people are impressed, I think, sometimes by stuff that I would think, oh, well, I'm not really fully impressed, but I think I'm also tough on myself. But I really would like to, I would like to start doing that. And I think it's just a matter of me saying, Janine, just take the leap, like stretch, see what happens and try it.
Yeah, I really want to say this, and not I really don't want to sound mean to men. So I really like men, please don't be insulted when I say this. But anytime I ever have like just a little bit of self-doubt, like, oh, don't do that, don't do that, that'll be silly, or don't do that, that'll be those lyrics aren't smart enough, or whatever. I'm like, think about every time a mediocre, like beyond below mediocre, in your opinion, Gab, guy put something out there. Like, and doesn't even think twice. Do they seem mediocre? Not even at all. They just put it out there. They just put it out there. It's out there. So I'm like, put it out there. I have just as much right as anybody. I'm putting it out there. And I really just try to sorry, men. It's not just, I mean, there are mediocre and subpar women too, but and non-binary, we all could be terrible is what I'm trying to say. But I try to think of those people who have no, they don't care. They put it out there and I'm like, ugh. Like, I don't know if you ever took like an acting class and there'd be people when you're like, who told you should take an acting class? Like, I know you want to learn acting, but you had to have known you can't act. Like, somewhere inside of you, you're bad at this, right? I mean, every acting class in college, I would like walk away with my professor and be like, do they know? He'd be like, they're killing me. They're killing me. They're bringing down the class. They're killing me. I'm like, how does this happen? It's just like really wild to me. Like, so please never, you're talented, Janine. You're awesome. Janine, you could be the mayor of Scranton. You're on TV every second of every day. You have the NPR wrapped around your finger. Stop it. Write a song, put it out. It'll be great. I promise you. All
All
right,
right.
I'm done. And I have a publishing label, so I could publish it for you and put it on iTunes and stuff. So
Ooh.
you have to
All
pay, you
right.
have to pay for it. I already pay a yearly thing.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, I so
about that. I want to start like producing people. I'm like, I can produce other people's comedy albums because I have a label.
that is awesome. That so real quick, you talked before about the premiere LinkedIn and you're saying that I also paid for it and I probably didn't need to, although it was only $100. I have a SoundCloud account and I don't know why I felt the need. I'm like, what is wrong with me? I had the account for free for years and I think I got it a long time ago when I first did my very first stand up. It was in Houston and we're talking, oh my gosh, when I was in my 20s or like maybe 27, 28. So it was like a little, those little personal voice recorder thingies, like a
Yeah.
little thing. It was on that. So I uploaded the MP3. So I didn't have a video. So I had it on SoundCloud. Why? What possessed me thinking I needed to get a professional account? I don't know what exactly I get for the $100, but I'm like, so now I'm like, that's one more thing on the to-do list that I've been, oh, well, I better start putting more stuff up there and trying to utilize all the benefits and advantages that I have that I don't even know about. But maybe as I start cutting some tracks, I can do.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Well, we have to work on something. I mean, I haven't picked up. I will say this about the ukulele, and this goes along with lightheartedness and humor for anyone listening who's like, the whole self doubt stuff. We have to stop that. And the thing is, too, even if it's just for you and you just have fun, that's more than enough reason. You don't have to worry about who appreciates it. I mean, if they do, that's great. But if you enjoy it, that's great. I had gotten this ukulele. I want to say, oh my gosh, it's probably going on 2.5 years now, 3 years. There, I was trying to learn chords and I got stuck. Like, I'll admit, I was trying to follow this one woman on YouTube has a really great channel where she teaches the ukulele, but I mean, we all learn differently. Following her fingers, like watching it, I wasn't picking up the chords. So what did I do? I stopped. But what I was doing in the morning for a while, for like several months, I would do it in the morning and I would just strum. And I will say it made me feel better. And I think I need to get back to that because now the past, let's say 4 months, my routine has been get up, get my coffee, and sit and scroll through social media and read Heather Cox Richardson, who gives the report on like all the shitty things that have happened from the administration. And I want to stay informed, but I find myself sometimes reading 2 paragraphs and going, I can't today. I can't. And I turn it off. And, or even seeing what someone else is doing and feeling shitty about something that I had 10 minutes earlier felt proud of or happy about. So I think I need to go back to strumming the ukulele, is my point.
Yeah. Get back to your ukulele, Janine. You ever heard of
Yeah.
Moog guitars? They're 3-string guitars, and then they come with like all these cards to teach you how to play the guitar because you really, I guess, only need 3 strings ultimately. And it's supposed to be a really easy way to learn guitar because I've been thinking about doing it because I've always thought I'd just like to be able to accompany myself. Like right now, I do things on a keyboard, but I don't really play keyboard, so it's like I play the part, record it, then I sing my part, and do like layer it that way. I would never like be able to play a whole song live. I could, maybe one hand, but I'm not a piano player. But I'd like to
All
be able
good.
to myself without backing tracks. That's like my only way if I'm solo
Yeah.
without. Gosh, Josh, he's the Paul Simon and my Garfunkel. What are we gonna do? What am I gonna do?
You guys are a great duo together. Yes. So if you never heard Josh and Gab, they write original music and songs to help kids basically be kind and to one another, to themselves. And I got the chance to see them last summer when they were here in Scranton, and it was fun. It was fun jamming out, watching and listening to your songs, to your tunes.
Every show heals my inner child a little bit, and yeah, and it's great, and the kids just crack me up. Like, every school's different. Like some schools have more of a music IQ, some kids, but when I get to a school where the comedy IQ is high, and I can really just like let go, have fun, do my glue stick story. The kids are engaged the entire time. It's like it's really fun. I didn't get like anyone coming in and doing stand up when I was in elementary school ever. Like that was never something that happened, or the way we run into the crowd and give them the opportunity to talk and share. And yeah, it's definitely it's really fun. I feel very lucky to to get to do that.
Well, it's definitely needed. It's awesome. And like I went to Catholic grade school, so they probably would have been like, humor. There's nothing funny. We're not allowing anything funny in this school. Like,
Oh my.
no, no.
We do a lot of Catholic schools, and I have to tell you, the one when we first started, Josh and I were, obviously a lot younger, and I don't know that we looked like, I don't think we looked like, rock star. I don't know what the look would be, but we walk into this Catholic school, and the principal was a nun, and she was looking at us like we were drug addicts, essentially, like just like there was something seriously fundamentally wrong with both of us. And we, we're setting up our stuff, and then we did our show, and it was going really well. And at one point, I'm doing my glue stick story, and I can see this nun like gut laughing, like I can see her teeth, and I'm like, okay, like if she's laughing this hard, I think we've won her over. We finished the show. She comes up to tell the kids to thank us, and she's like, kids, I think it is very obvious that Josh and Gab are blessed by Jesus. They're messengers of God. Like she's screaming in the microphone that we're messengers of God. Josh and I are like, wow, that was a huge turnaround from like the way she looked at us when we first came in and set up. It was wild. It was really wild.
Wow. Well, that is quite high praise, I would say.
Messengers of God. What are you gonna do? I told you we
Yeah.
went to an evangelical school, and there was really like a mural with dinosaurs and Jesus,
Oh no, I did
and
not hear about this show.
and when and like Josh and I both were like, oh man, like really nervous. So we were just like, hey, is there anything like that is off limits that you do not want us to talk about? And the principal was like, oh, I'm really glad you asked. Yeah, do not bring up evolution. And I was like, oh, you know what? It doesn't come up in our show. We're gonna be good. We never mention evolution. We're really good. But I was just like, how would if someone's bullying you because you don't believe in evolution, this is what you say to them. Like I was just so thrown off by that. I was just like, that's the one thing evolution. Okay, yeah, don't worry, not coming up.
You're like, well, there goes half of our tracks, but yeah, okay, no evolution. Cross that right off.
Our first song, "We Came from Apes." I guess we're not going to do that one. Okay, gosh, you have the dinosaurs, Dino Nuggies. How about that? Do you guys like that?
We get interactive and we throw out bananas, so that's going to be a shame that we can no longer do that. Oh, and I think we were going to do the second song, Critical Race Theory. Can we do
Is that okay? That's fine. Okay, okay. Just let me don't mention evolution. All right, good, 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 good.
Oh my God, that is too funny. Oh, no evolution songs. Okay.
Yeah. I was like dumbfounded, like, what? Okay, yeah, we're good. Be good.
You're like glue sticks and nuggies. I think we're all right.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay.
Oh man. Well, as I start to wrap up here, I guess I would just say to folks listening, and I gotta get out of that habit. I'm sorry, because if you weren't listening, you wouldn't hear this. So who the hell am I talking to? I keep saying that for folks listening. And if you're not, screw you, because you should be. I don't know. Just find some time. And I'm not even gonna say find time, make time, because this finding bullshit, a lot of people say, oh, I don't have time for anything. I don't have time for anything. But I'm going to be a little bit of a jerk here and say, when I read people's posts, I should say, where they're like, oh, I didn't even have time to eat lunch today, or like any kind of shit like that. Well, first of all, that never happens to me because I don't miss up any food time. Like I'm too hungry to like let food pass me by. But like that kind of stuff, if you're that busy, then just put your phone down. You know what I mean? Maybe take the 15-20 minutes that you spent scrolling and just go for a walk, or call or text a friend who usually makes you laugh. Just take the time to put some more humor and laughter into your day, because the research, even if you think we're two knuckleheads and you don't want to believe us, the research says that it does wonders for us. Laughter can do so much for our heart, for diabetics, for our immune system, boost our brain chemicals, lower stress hormone, cortisol. It has a host of great things that can do for your brain, head to toe. It's so just please make some time to laugh. And if you can do it with someone you care about, that's even better, because humor definitely bonds us. In a classroom or a sports team, humor has this really great bonding effect. So if you can do that, it can definitely help strengthen relationships as well as help you to feel healthy. Anything to add, Gab?
Anything to add to that? No, but I do agree with all of that, Janine. I think just laughing puts you in a good mood. Smiling, even just smiling, as corny as it sounds at yourself in the mirror, can put you in a good mood. I talk to myself in the mirror. I like the way people train their little kids to be like, I'm pretty, I'm good. Like sometimes adults have to do it too. And if you have to do that to see another person smiling back at you, if it has to be you, so be it.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of smiling at strangers. I am.
I
Not in a weird way, but
I smile at strangers, I say hello, but every therapist I've ever had is like, you have to stop doing that. You can't do it because you then start a conversation and then they're in their basement locked up. No, you can't. Yeah, they don't want me to drive Uber or keep saying hello to strangers. Every therapist has said, like, not you, Gab, not you.
okay, well, everyone but Gab, or maybe talk to your therapist and see if it's see if smiling is right for you, and you can maybe give it a try. No, I will say, and again, there's, I listened to a podcast. Oh, Lori Santos, the Happiness Lab. She taught a very popular course, which I think it's truly what boosted her to national attention. The Science of Well-being talks a lot about like gratitude, happiness at Yale, and it really has gotten her, a big audience. But the Happiness Lab is her podcast, and she talks about a lot of different things. And one of the things that was brought up, even those little connections, like for people, we talk about the seriousness of isolation and people not connecting with other humans anymore, and that's a problem. But even if it's someone you don't know, don't sleep on that. Don't underestimate that, because even if you are out for a walk with your dog or whatever and you see someone coming your way and you lift your head up and you both smile, nod your head or say hi, nice day, isn't it? There is something in that that is good for you too, that is healthy for you. And I mean, I love it. In fact, well, much kind of like Gab, I love doing it, but sometimes I have to be careful because I get mad like if someone doesn't say hello to me. Or worse, I don't mind so much if they don't say hello, or I do dislike that. But what annoys me more is when they kind of give me a funny look, like how dare you or whatever, and I'm thinking, I'm not frightening. What is your problem? Like in my head, I think that I don't start following them and harassing them. But I do love the interaction because you never know. I have had so many people who will take it to another level where they're like, wow, this weather is fantastic. Or when I was running, like, I've had gentlemen like, I see you, or you keep it up, girl, or run something for me, run a mile for me. And that honestly, it boosted me in that moment. So those little interactions with other humans can really make a difference. So humor is the human connection too. So use these opportunities to connect with other people, do something that's good for you. So that's my spiel. I want to thank my friend Gab because we always have fun talking. We could go on and on and on, but we know that you'll probably tune out. So we'll wrap it up here. But thank you, Gab, so much.
Thanks for always having me, Janine. It's always a blast.
Absolutely. So hopefully we'll get Gab back to northeastern Pennsylvania sometime. I know we're hoping that maybe her and Josh get some gigs in the future here so I can get to see her in person again. Otherwise, we'll definitely be teaming up again on Zoom and hopefully doing some more online comedy shows that I will keep you informed of. So it's April, and as I mentioned, Emily Hickox of Budget Through Life will be on sharing some information to help us through this financial literacy month. Gabby Lynn of Reinvented Threads. And yes, they both happen to be podcast sponsors, but Earth Day is right around the corner, and Gabby Lynn is all about sustainability, social responsibility. She makes these adorable dolls, handbags, bucket hats, all from items she finds from like yard sales. It could be it could be a shirt, it could be a tablecloth, it could be a pillow, it could be a cross stitch. She's incredible about reinventing things. So she will be on talking about what she does. And who else am I going to have? Oh, yeah, I'm going to have another funny person next week, Kathleen, who I've only met online, but she is about to unveil a one-woman show. It's called Tumor Baby. So I'm very curious and excited to meet her and have a conversation with her online and have you guys learn about her show, which will be premiering in Allentown. Or I'm sorry, I think it's going to be in Bethlehem at Steel Stacks, but we'll get into that on the show next week. So if you enjoy these kinds of conversations and you want to be a podcast sponsor, reach out to me. But you don't need money to help. You can also share the podcast on social media, tell a friend, a foe, anyone you know. That all helps. So, as I say every week, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of my wine glass.